What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel where we cover everything from adventures to installs, DIYs. You saw it all in the intro, but today I'm going to be installing something I've been looking at for a very long time, and it is the Charvonia Designs tie downs for the bed of your 2015 to 2023 Toyota Tacoma. I initially wanted to get these because I noticed there was a little bit of give in the stock bed tie downs, and it started to make me a little bit more leery. And I saw this product and it seemed perfect. What we're going to be installing today are billet tie downs by Charvonia Designs. I have one here that we're going to be installing, and these are going to replace the kind of vertically mounted tie downs in the back of the bed. There's going to be separate tools required to remove these, and then along the sliding rails we're going to be installing these longer ones. And as you can see, they come in this textured black anodized type material, super strong, much more durable feeling in the hand than the stock ones. So like I said, I noticed from a structural integrity standpoint that the stock ones were just not doing the job anymore. And as this is a 2018-2019 model year Toyota Tacoma, I'm constantly trying to find ways to kind of bring it up into 2024 standards. Charvonia Designs also makes these same products for the 2024 Toyota Tacoma and a bunch of other models. I will link to their website right down here below, and you guys can go ahead and check it out. So without further ado, let's get into this install, and I'll show you guys all the tools and how I'm going to be going about doing that, because in my particular case, I have to navigate the bed rack that I have on there. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Let's get into it. All right, so sorry in advance for any sort of shadow we got going on here, but essentially this is what we're doing to mount them right in there. Let's see if I can zoom in. That little piece right here that obviously, like I said, is dated and ineffective. I've used it a few times and just kind of bothered not to even go back to it. So these are the Charvonia Designs tie downs. Again, these ones are the matte black finish. We have a Allen key to mount the hardware once they're installed. And then this is one thing I had to run to the store to grab. This is a T40 Torx bit. Not necessarily something everyone has on hand, but it was fairly inexpensive, under $10. Still a little bit pricey, but it'll be good to have, especially if you're running a Tacoma or doing this on a Tacoma rather. And then I have a little ratchet wrench here. So I'm going to get back there, crawl in there, find a good way to show you guys this, and then we'll get started with this install. And it should be fairly quick to do those on both sides. All right, so we're now in the back of my Tacoma. Sorry if there's a little bit of an echo for you guys on camera, because there is here for me. So I'm just going to put on the T40 Torx bit, and I'm doing this all in live time. This is a 2018. These have never been removed, so we'll see how we fare getting them off with this if I have any trouble. So basically, make sure it's set on the right setting. All right, so now that these are removed, you will be able to see, and I'll get a clip for you guys in a sec. These are just exposed threaded holes, so they should be fairly simple. I'm just going to take my Charvonia Designs tie down and use the supplied hardware. I think these are H6 bolts, and my Allen key, and I should be able to just get them in there by hand fairly tight. So something to note here, you will notice on these, and I didn't notice it till after, it says torque to 20 foot-pounds. Hopefully you guys have a torque wrench. I don't have one with me, and I'm just gonna use my best judgment. So do as I do, don't do as I do, do as I say. I would suggest using a torque wrench. I think that'll be ultimately the most beneficial. I plan to get another one here pretty soon. My last one broke, and I'll be better off for it. But for now, I'm just going to use these and kind of do them hand tight, snug them up. I'm not going to put too much pressure on them. I don't want to damage the product, although this thing is, like I said, after all, very beefy when you compare it to this little thing. Side by side. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this together, and I'll probably just do like a little time lapse so you guys know I actually did it. All right, so as you can already tell, I just dropped a little bit of a B-roll clip one on top of the other. These are way better from a quality manufacturing standpoint. I think these tie downs from Tacoma or from Toyota that are in the Tacoma originally, they're not it. And I'm glad I'm getting them replaced because it's bringing the truck to look a little bit more refined, and it's overall just gonna be a better look. So let's get these installed, and then we'll move on to the bed rail system. Now that I got both of those installed, I'm going to be moving to these right here. And so these are going to be the side rail pieces. I've pulled out these stock ones for a direct comparison. I mean, these are arguably the ugliest piece on the Tacoma, and these are going to be structurally more secure, but also they look awesome. Like I've mentioned a few times now, this material, the weight of it in your hand feels awesome. And just like being able to grab it, even just not attached to the truck, feels really nice. So this quality is basically unmatched. It's not even a discussion. The interesting thing that's going to have to happen here is typically you would simply remove this little thing here on the side, and the mounting plate, which I'll show you in a sec, would just simply slide through there and you'd be able to attach it to the side of the bed. However, if you have a GFC, roof rack, anything like this, you've already have these bolts mounted so that this stays in place. You have it on both sides. You can see there's already a mounting plate in there. You can go the route, which I was initially thinking, where you can actually go buy additional fasteners that just kind of drop them in T-nuts sideways, and that's totally fine. You drop them in sideways, but I don't think that's going to be as secure as using the actual brackets themselves. See, rummaging noises. These are them right here. These are the actual brackets, and they actually come with little rivets here, similar to those on the stock brackets, which basically lock it into place, keep it from sliding back and forth in the channel there. So what I'm going to have to do on both sides is I want the Charvonia Designs handle right there on the front, because I use the bed stiffener and those in the back the most. So this is going to be the location that's going to be best for me. I'm going to actually have to unbolt this bolt, pull out that slider. Hopefully, this is kind of what I had planned, and then slide the thing past this leg and then put this bolt back in for the RCI roof rack. So I'm gonna put the camera down, do a little bit of wrenching, and hopefully in a few minutes rather, we'll have these gone, those in, and I already tossed the other ones that replace the brackets back there. All right, let's get to it. All right, so you might have seen signs of struggle there, but basically I was able to break the RCI roof rack bolt off. I will note that the reason it took so long is because this hasn't been removed since 2018. That's when I put this rack on initially. I was trying to be careful. I didn't want anything to get cross-threaded, but this plate slid out, that bolt came out, and then as you were able to see, I was able to slide that Charvonia Designs plate in there just perfectly with the rivet facing out, so it actually can go into this little divot there. And yeah, now all I have to do for this side is mount this hardware back into the bed rack, and then I am going to mount the first of these two tie downs onto this side. All right, the angle I was filming at is not doing us any favors with this daylight savings time, but what essentially I've done here is, and I'll flip the camera around here in a sec to show you guys while I'm talking, but basically I've hand threaded the Charvonia Designs handle, bracket, tie down, whatever you want to call it, into place. And that way I'm able to kind of slide it around and decide where I want to position it. So basically it's finger tight here, and you can see that rivet in there is in that space, but I still have enough room where I can actually feel where that connection is. So I want to eyeball it basically in the center here and make sure I'm in the rivet. I don't know if you can tell, it's right in there, so I'm within spec. So now all I'm going to do is hand tighten everything as I did before with the handy dandy hex tool, and we'll be all set. Last thing before we finish up this side, do not forget this. If you were me, I would get super irritated because I hate losing little pieces of, I just hate hitting little pieces. So make sure that's back in. I tighten that down. The bracket is, it's so beefy. I'm glad I have that on there now. So I just got to get to the other side and then we'll wrap things up. I'll give you guys my final thoughts and assessment. All right, so that was kind of a little quick montage of me removing the brackets for the bed rack. I don't think that's going to apply to everyone, but I figured I'd show you guys that that's the methodology behind it. If you want to mount these and you have a bed rack, you don't necessarily have to opt for other hardware. Now that we're at this point, I have the mount inside the channel for the Charvonia Designs tie down, and I'm just going to kind of thread these through as I did on the other side. Make sure it's lined up on both sides the way I want it to be, and then just tighten it down to 20 foot-pounds if at all possible, and then you got a finished product. Let's get her done. Okay, so I found something I think will be very helpful to explain to everyone, but essentially because we had to feed this through this bar, sorry, there's people yelling in the background, neighbors, you can't feed it through pre-assembled, and when you go to thread the bolts through, this mounting plate here tends to want to fall back. So I was having the hardest time, maybe I got some film of me doing that, but I had the hardest time in making sure it stuck to the front so the bolt was able to grip down onto or catch the threads on the plaque itself. So if you bought the full kit, save these little suckers. And what I did was I just placed it in there and just pulled on it like this and was able to prop up that plate in the back simply by holding it behind it and kind of holding it this way while I threaded that through, and it worked perfectly. I can't say that these will serve any other purpose other than that, but it was nice to have just as an idea because I used my car key, didn't work very well, but this worked perfectly. Now that they're on there, nice and sturdy, I'm super happy with the way these look. The material versus the stock brackets here, I mean, it's a night and day comparison. These are basically trash. stoked. All right, the sun has finally set, but now we can see the inside of the bed with the completed tie downs. Let me know if you can see them in the comments below, but I'm super happy. It really ties the whole bed together, you know, from the Total Chaos bed stiffeners. Now we got the Charvonia Designs tie downs on both sides. They're all black, which I love because now I don't have any cheapy chrome aluminum sticking out. You can see that one a little bit better. I will likely end up replacing that stock tie down with another one of these from Charvonia Designs, but for the time being, I think like I said, this is the location that gives me the most peace of mind, and I use the most because I usually tie something from back there over to here, link it through the stiffener, and it's all good. There we have it, you guys. I'm actually going to be switching from my sunshades to my regular glasses because we burned all the daylight for today doing this install for those Charvonia Designs tie downs. So like I said, initial thoughts and why I was actually looking to get these was that I wanted to make sure that the truck was as 2024 as possible, while also including more practicality and durability out of the product added. I was fortunate enough to partner with Charvonia Designs on this install today. Like I said in many videos in the past, I will never do just like a install because someone sends it to me, or however you want to phrase it. I stand behind the products that I want to install on my truck, and I think this one is easily one of the ones that I will begin to see the benefits from the most here coming up pretty soon. So cons, so far, basically if you have a bed rack, it's a little bit more challenging to get installed, but if this is something you want to do out the gate as like an initial mod, totally go for it. You just pre-assemble them in your hand and then slide them on into the bed rail. Hopefully I made it as easy to follow as possible for someone who kind of already has an Overland build or a bed rack. I knew that that was going to be a challenge out the gate, but it turned out to be not too bad at all. So if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. I do a lot of these kind of installs, DIY type of things, but if you're interested in trails and off-road adventures, we do a lot of that here on the channel as well. So if you're not already subscribed, get subscribed, leave a comment down below, like this video, it helps out a ton. And until next time, enjoy the ride.